INFJs are often seen as mysterious, deeply empathetic, and emotionally intelligent individuals. As the rarest personality type in the MBTI spectrum, they approach life, relationships, and communication with an unparalleled sense of depth and nuance. But despite their calm and composed exterior, INFJs have emotional boundaries that, when crossed, can cause deep frustration, hurt, or even permanent withdrawal. The problem? INFJs often won't tell you when you've crossed these boundaries. Instead, they'll withdraw emotionally or quietly shut you out. To truly understand an INFJ and build a strong connection with them, you need to know what not to say. In today's video, we'll dive into 6 things you should never say to an INFJ, unpacking why these phrases hurt and how they clash with the INFJ's core values and inner world. Let's get started. You're overthinking it. INFJs are natural deep thinkers. Their minds are constantly analyzing patterns, exploring scenarios, and connecting seemingly unrelated pieces of information. This isn't idle rumination. It's their way of making sense of the world and anticipating possible outcomes. When someone dismisses their process with a casual, "You're overthinking it," it feels invalidating. INFJs are often fully aware of how much thought they're putting into a situation, but they can't stop themselves from analyzing. It's just how their minds work. Why it hurts. INFJs use overthinking as a tool to problem solve, anticipate obstacles, and prepare for emotional scenarios. Dismissing their thought process feels like dismissing a core part of their personality. They may start questioning their own intuition, even when it's been right countless times before. What to say? Instead, if you sense an INFJ is getting overwhelmed by their thoughts, try saying, "It seems like you've been thinking about this a lot. Do you want to talk it through? What's the core thing that's bothering you about this situation?" These responses create space for them to share their thoughts without feeling judged. Key takeaway: INFJs' minds are like complex puzzles. Don't dismiss their thought process. Help them untangle it. 2. Why are you so quiet? INFJs are introverts at their core, and silence isn't uncomfortable for them, it's necessary. They often need quiet moments to process their thoughts, recharge emotionally, and reflect on conversations or events. But when someone asks, "Why are you so quiet?" especially in a public or group setting, it can feel like being put on the spot. The question suggests that their natural introversion is a problem or something that needs to be explained. Why it hurts. INFJs aren't quiet because they're upset, bored, or disinterested. They're quiet because they're processing. Being asked this question can make them feel self-conscious about their natural state of being. It creates unnecessary pressure to perform socially, which only drains them further. What to say? Instead, if you notice an INFJ is being quiet, try saying, "You seem really thoughtful today. What's on your mind? I appreciate having you here, even if you're not talking much." These responses show that you respect their silence rather than making them feel awkward about it. Key takeaway: silence isn't empty for an INFJ. It's full of reflection, observation, and meaning. 3. You're too sensitive. INFJs are highly empathetic and emotionally attuned individuals. They feel deeply, not just their own emotions, but also the emotions of others. This heightened sensitivity allows them to connect with people on a profound level, but it also makes them vulnerable to emotional exhaustion. When someone says, "You're too sensitive," it feels like being told their greatest strength is actually a flaw. Why it hurts. INFJs see their sensitivity as a core part of who they are. It's not something they can turn off. Being told they're too sensitive makes them feel like their emotions are invalid or excessive. It can cause them to withdraw emotionally and become hesitant to share their feelings in the future. What to say? Instead, if an INFJ is showing vulnerability, try saying, "I can see that this means a lot to you. Do you want to talk about it more? Your sensitivity is one of your greatest strengths. It's what makes you so compassionate." These responses validate their emotions instead of dismissing them. Key takeaway: sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. Respect the depth of an INFJ's emotions. 4. Stop caring so much. INFJs have a deep sense of responsibility for the people and causes they care about. Whether it's a friend in crisis, a humanitarian issue, or an unresolved conflict, INFJs often feel a moral obligation to do something. But when someone tells them to stop caring so much, it feels dismissive of their core values. Caring deeply isn't a switch they can turn off. It's an intrinsic part of their identity. Why it hurts. Caring deeply is part of how INFJs find meaning and purpose in life. Being told to stop caring feels like being told to stop being themselves. It can make them feel isolated, as though their priorities are misunderstood. What to say? Instead, if you notice an INFJ is carrying too much emotional weight, try saying, "It's okay to take a break. You deserve time for yourself too. Your care makes a difference, but don't forget to care for yourself as well." These responses show understanding while encouraging self-care. Key takeaway: INFJs care deeply because they see the value in people and causes. Support their care, but remind them to protect their energy too. 5. You're hard to understand. INFJs often feel like they exist in their own emotional and intellectual world, a world that few people truly understand. They're introspective, complex, and sometimes contradictory. When someone says, "You're hard to understand," it reinforces one of the INFJ's deepest fears, that they're fundamentally alone. Why it hurts. INFJs already struggle with feeling misunderstood. This statement can feel dismissive, as though the person has given up trying to connect. It makes them feel isolated and hesitant to share their inner world. What to say? Instead, if you don't fully understand an INFJ, try saying, "I'd love to understand your perspective better. Can you share more with me? You have such a unique way of seeing the world, and I want to learn more about it." These responses build bridges instead of walls. Key takeaway: INFJs don't expect you to fully understand them, but they do value your effort to try. 6. Just be more like everyone else. INFJs are rare. Their way of thinking, feeling, and processing the world often sets them apart. They see connections others miss, feel emotions others avoid, and think in patterns others overlook. Being told to just be more like everyone else feels like being asked to erase themselves to fit into a mold that wasn't made for them. Why it hurts. INFJs value authenticity deeply. Being told to change feels like betrayal. It dismisses their individuality and unique contributions to the world. It reinforces the feeling that they don't belong. What to say? Instead, "Your perspective is so refreshing. It's one of the things I value most about you. I love how true you are to yourself. It's inspiring." These responses celebrate their uniqueness rather than dismissing it. Key takeaway: INFJ's uniqueness is their gift. Don't ask them to dim their light to make others comfortable. INFJs are deeply sensitive, thoughtful, tall, and rare individuals. Their emotional depth and intuitive insight are gifts to the world, but they also come with vulnerabilities. If you want to build a strong connection with an INFJ, respect their emotional boundaries, validate their experiences, and celebrate their unique way of being. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into the INFJ personality. Share your thoughts below. Have you ever been on the receiving end of these phrases as an INFJ? Remember, INFJ, your depth and sensitivity are your strengths. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Thank you for watching, and keep shining your rare, extraordinary light.